36 years of basketball
Hey,
knowledge
good evening,
and
ladies
life
and gentlemen.
skills.
We
Your
just like to
host,
welcome
Coach
everybody out,
Goins, focuses
tonight
on
because
today's
we are
topics
Facebook
on and
Live,
off the court,
and you may
helping
be saying,
players and
Coach, what's
coaches
really
achieve
going
their
on
goals.
tonight?
So get
We
ready
got
for another
Coach Ernest
fast-break
Bradley with us.
episode of Basketball
Back
More Than a
again.
Game with
We
your
are
host, Coach
in the studio,
Goins.
as you can tell. We are live on my back deck in Fishersville, Virginia. And listen, via telephone from the great state of North Carolina, we also have Coach Mike Quick. Coach Quick, are you with us?
Yes, sir. Glad to be here.
Excellent. So, again, we thank you so much, Coach Ernest Bradley. Again, we thank you for this is your second time around on Basketball More Than a Game. Appreciate you being with us.
Well, Coach Gordon, thank you for having me.
No, thank you, man. Again, folks, it's guys like Coach Quick as well as Coach Spragley that is spending time with us. And tonight, you like say, Coach, what are you doing talking about basketball? We're talking about basketball because you know what, folks? It is NBA, and it is prime time. And you know what? Golden State is up 2-0, and we're not here to bash anybody, but we're going to get down in the paint with this whole playoff series. So with that, Mike, I'm going to go ahead and let you kick it off. Folks, just listen in to what Mike has to say as it relates to the NBA playoffs. Mike, go ahead and kick us off, sir.
I'll tell you, so far the playoffs have been, as gone as expected, in my opinion. The two teams who are playing in the finals, I fully expected them to be back here this year. I just didn't expect it to be quite like Golden State has put out there so far.
You're exactly right, Mike. And the big thing that what we're going to call out here is, Cleveland's been there. Cleveland's been there the last two. Actually, it's been Golden State and Cleveland the last 2 years. So, Coach Sprague, or Coach, there you go, 3 years. So, Coach, go ahead and drop us a dime on yours.
Well, I'm just looking through these playoffs. Seems like it was no competition either on the West or the East for Golden State or Cleveland. Just what I've seen through the past two games is just that Golden State is clicking on all cylinders, and LeBron is trying to will his team to get to the point where they need to be at. And I see that he's a tired individual, and he really needs the rest of his supporting team just to show up.
That's a great call out. And Mike, I'm going to come back to you here real quick. It's not about who's on the court starting. It's about the role players and guys being able to come in and really make a difference. So let's talk about Mike, I'm going to give you the first dibs on this first fast break session. I want your opinion on the Golden State's bench.
Golden State's bench, they're excellent. I mean, when you can come off the bench with an Andre Iguodala, who's a former Finals MVP, as well as an Olympian, also come off the bench with Sean Livingston, somebody who was a five-star recruit, never got a chance to play in college, but was a top 5 pick in the NBA draft. Then you come off the bench as well with JaVale McGee, somebody with a lot of energy, block shots, defend, and guys who can just put the ball in the basket. I mean, they have been electrifying so far coming off Golden State's bench. They're ready when called upon, whether it's on the offensive side of the ball or the defensive side of the ball, and they bring just a ton of energy.
And you wonder why Coach Spragley and Mike Quick is on this call. Mike and Mike, you need to check us up because we are putting it down right here in Fishersville, Virginia, line after line, precept after precept. And Quick just, again, it is the bench. It's not about the starters. It is about who comes in when the starters have to go out because, King James, he can't play. He can't play every possession, and we see that, and we see him wearing down. All right, Coach. All right, I'm going to put you in charge of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Put you on the spot there, Coach Spragley. You are running Game 3 tomorrow night. You're at home. So tell me your key and your strategy to be successful tomorrow night if you're Cleveland's head coach.
Okay, first of all, I've been watching past 2 games and seeing how Golden State been executing on offense as well as defense. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna shake it up a little bit. I may start Jefferson. I may start Shumpert and put JR on the bench because JR hasn't really been showing anything.
Come on, keep on talking.
I'll be putting my big man, Thompson, as well as on the bench. And I would just shake it up a little bit, play a little bit of small ball. And plus, they have length and they have that heart and that passion. Jefferson's been in the league for a lot of years. He can bring that experience on the court. Also, he can help with guarding KD. KD is a difficult matchup. And LeBron's trying to play on both ends on defense, either on KD or either on Steph. and he needs support. So I will bring in the veteran Jefferson. He can help him there, as well as Shumpert, just to get a different spark, to get something, change the chemistry of what they're doing. Right now, they're just not doing the things they need to. And also, I will get the ball to Kyrie in the beginning. Let him start off just executing the offense, and give James just a little bit to the side, because Kyrie Irving just has not been involved in the first 2 games. He's just not showing up.
You know what? And again, that's why these guys are on the call. So right now, going into game, which will be game 3 tomorrow night. I got the stat sheet pulled up right here. Mr. Coach Quick, we've got LeBron James has played 40 minutes already, right? So you look at 40 minutes, and he dropped 20. And this is last game. So he dropped 28 points on 40 minutes. He shot 45% from the floor, 33% from the free throw line, and his field goal percentage on the floor is 66%. But I'm dead in agreement with Coach Spragley, folks. And as he's talking about, you think about my challenge. When somebody asked me, I would have done exactly what Tyronn Lue did. I would have taken Shumpert, and I would have taken a smaller, quicker guy, and I would have put him up under KD for 2 things. Number 1, to make KD have to put the ball on the deck, and then somebody say, well, he can shoot over the top of him. That's fine, let him shoot over the top, but I don't want to put a big on him, head and shoulder fake, and he's gone by him. So, and then the same thing, I think a call out from game 2 was they were not hustling down the court. There's a call made. So all you young players listening and folks that are coaching this game, make sure when the call is made, get out on the floor. Don't be sit there and debating on, I'm going to turn around, I'm going to talk to Coach Spragley for, 3 seconds about, man, I didn't travel. Don't you agree I didn't travel? Next the ball's in bounds and it's down the floor, and now that's an easy basket. And Jeff Van Gundy called that out. So I think there's a lot of things going on with the Cleveland Cavaliers that, number 1, hadn't gone public. And what I mean by that is, we're gonna call it what it is, and we do that here on basketball more in the game. Cleveland just doesn't have the bench, and Quick already he laid that out, line by line. Iguodala is a former Finals MVP, and then you have J.R. I'm missing every night Smith trying to play for the Cavaliers, and then who is the missing guy out of Durham? He's playing just as if we've never seen him before, and Coach Spragley called that out with coming from Mr. Urban. So with that, Mike, so give me your 2 cents. What does Cleveland have to do in tomorrow night?
Well, number 1, like Coach Spragley said, that they got to go to Kyrie early and often. They got to get him off. Got to figure out a way to get him off, and as well as try to figure out a way to give LeBron some time in between time to some rest. Even if it means resting on offense, some and facilitating the offense, that's what he has to do. Because and then they got to slow down. You cannot run with the Golden State Warriors. If you do, they're gonna score 150 points on you tomorrow night in front of your own gym and send you well on your way packing for the summer. So they got to slow the offense down.
All right,
they got to run some half-court sets and get in the paint.
And you wonder why he's on the call. I'm telling you what, anybody that's listening, you got a coaching vacancy on staff, I got this young man's number. You better call him, and you better call him Quick. And again, and his name is Mike Quick. But it just shows you he's been a student of the game for over 20 years. I had the honor and privilege of coaching Mike back in the day when I was coaching high school, and I remember in the hallways. And Mike's been on the show as well as Coach Spragley several times, and Mike co-hosts with me, and it's just a pleasure to have him back on. But you see why we have him on the podcast, because number 1, he's going to lay it down. He's going to be honest and truthful, and that's the number 1 thing. I was telling my best friend when we was watching the game the other night, the number 1 thing you can't do, you can't run. I mean, they're going to shoot the long ball, and it's going to cause you to shoot the long ball. And then when you shoot the long ball, first thing you want to do, you want to grab that board, you want to kick it out. And then what happens in Golden State, they feed off of Curry and his antics, and I call it just like that, and we'll get into that here in a second. But you call that out, Mike. But all right, so I'm gonna put Coach Spragley on the hot seat on this fast break session. So as Mike talks about, you can't run, you got to get in a half court set. So again, you coaching Cleveland tomorrow. What's your half court set looking like?
First of all, my half-court set's going to look, like I said, get Kyrie involved. But you need to get James in the post. You need to get Love in the post. And you really got to play power ball. You got to slow the game down to the half court set, and make them have to foul them so they can get to the line. Because right now, the spacing on the floor is so favorable for Golden State. But if you play that power ball, you play that down in the post, that somebody has to guard them, and you bang them, that slows the game down as well as going to make them have to work harder on defense.
That's a great call out. So hey, you know what? And just as he just made that great call out, just like I got to make a great call out, folks. We're not on the air for free, so we got to pay some bills. So Coach, quick, hold on 1 second. We'd like to thank one of our sponsors out of North Carolina. So again, for your insurance needs, folks that's listening to podcasts as well as Facebook, Curtis Jackson, who is an independent broker and also benefits coordinator. His office is in Creedmoor, North Carolina. So that's Curtis Jackson. Please dial 919-614-5796 for your insurance needs out of North Carolina. And Mr. Curtis Jackson will get you squared away. And we appreciate his continued support of basketball more than the game, because without Curtis, we're not able to be here. And I also want to thank my wife for taking time out for making this live presentation. Getting out and across the airway. So, all right, Mr. Quick, we're going to come to North Carolina for this question real quick. We're going to kind of change up as we move into this, what I call pick and pop session of the podcast. So with that, we're going to put the NBA on ice right now. Let's go ahead and talk about them Heels. So I know I heard some great stuff, some inside scoop from what's been going on in Chicago at the Combines, and your big fella that has gone up and that's going to be returning next year. Bradley, is that correct?
No, he's not coming back. He's
okay,
staying in the draft.
All right, so he is going to stay because, again, you know what, folks, I heard from a reliable source that's been up there working the Combines, and Mr. Quick said he's not coming back because I heard that he's been knocking the three ball down very well, and they're saying that he's looking good. So give us your take on that move.
Well, I tell you, I wish he would have came back. I feel like next year he could have been top 5 pick, and there's no doubt in my mind, especially with the big news coming out of Chapel 3 on the day, that we could have possibly gone back and repeated as champions, and I still think we got a shot.
All right, so go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead and give us that breaking news out of Chapel Hill. I don't have that inside scoop. Go ahead and drop it on the world.
Yes, sir. Breaking news out of Chapel 3 on the day. Pitt grad transfer Cam Johnson he's committed to the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill to play basketball. He's had two years of eligibility remaining. Pitt is trying to keep this young man from playing next year for an ACC school. Says that if he enrolls at Carolina, then he has to sit out a year. But according to the current bylaws of the NCAA, Pitt cannot disallow this kid to play as a graduate transfer. This kid has graduated in 3 years as a summa cum laude. So allow him to go. Free Cam Johnson. Let him play basketball at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill next year and help us have a chance to repeat as national champion.
Watch out now. I'll tell you what. He's dropped it down. I guess I don't know who's happier, Roy Williams or Mike Quick, finding that great information coming out of Chapel Hill. So in that, we talked a little bit about ones and dones. I'm going to give Coach Spragley a little bit of a dialogue in reference to that because the first time he was on the show, actually, Coach Spragley was the second guy that we had on the podcast. I guess it's been almost back in March, and we've gotten a very good conversation in reference to ones and dones and what's that done for college basketball. So, Coach, I'll go ahead and toss it over to you to give us a little feedback on that.
Well, the recruiters go and get these ones and dones, say, well, we're going to push you and try to get you to a national championship, bring your giftings and get you to that next level. So, these guys come and they have these promises, I'm going to make it to the national championship. But then, you hear all the accolades from all the different people say, hey, you can go to the NBA, you can make all this money. So a lot of them have that foresight says, well, I want to make that money. But, I think it hurts programs because, as Coach Quick was saying about Chapel Hill, about how those players stay there for 2, 3, 4 years, and how they become a team and they learn each other, learn Roy's system, and how to become good players. But so, when you go to the NBA, you really need to have that toolage for 2 or 3 years so you can transfer those skills that you learn from that coach to the NBA. Whereas the one and dones, they get there, it's a very small percentage that starts for 2 or 3, maybe 4 years because they lost that developmental part that they could have learned in college. And I understand why they go, because they want that money to provide for their family. But it just hurts them and it hurts the program.
You know what? That's a great call out, and for all the old heads, and I say the old head for you young fellas, if you just kind of sit right here, I actually had a great conversation last night with a gentleman that I actually went to college with a few years ago, Mr. Abdul Ghaffar, who's done a tremendous job in Robertson County, building a program down there, and is just a great leader. But he brought a perspective, that I really never thought about. As the game has changed, that's what it's really gone away from a team game. It's really gone into more of a, okay, you're going to get your shots and I'm going to get mine. And I think that's what Coach Spragley is calling out there, is just it's eroding the game. And people, and I talk to guys that's older than me, guys that's in their 60s, and some of the guys are not even watching NBA basketball anymore. And again, it was very hard watching the game the other night, and just how they play, how they're just not calling the game the way I think they should call the game. But, we're not here to throw anybody on the bus. We're just stating our opinion. That's why it's basketball. It's more in the game. But in that, it is taking, to me, it's really taking a toll on the game. Again, not with just guys leaving, but being able to get into a league and only in the league 2 or 3 years, and then they're gone just because, one, they're no longer the big fish, and then two, then here's the next kid on the block coming through. So, all right, Mike, we done took a little break from the NBA, so let's kind of shift gears and let's get back into that. What was your opinion, or how would you play KD? Are you favorable of letting KD get off like he did the first game and protect the 3 line, or you think they should kind of change that up?
Well, number one, is pick your poison with Golden State. I feel like KD is going to get hit, but I feel like, putting Shumpert on him was a good idea. Somebody that can get up under him and get in his chest, so to speak. But the Heat split, they gotta start stopping Curry. Because when both of them are getting off like that, the crowd is feeding off that, the teammates are feeding off that energy, and everybody else is just playing well. Now Klay Thompson has decided to show up to the party. But I'm hoping that Cleveland can put a stop to that on tomorrow night. It will be great to see. And I'll go back to something that Coach Spicer said about changing the lineups.
Yep.
I would sit J.R. Smith on the bench, and I would start Kyle Korver. We need to get Kyle Korver going, because Cleveland needs to get some three-point shots to go down so it can open up the floor for LeBron, so it has space to operate and to maneuver. As I said, I would side LeBron some and let him facilitate the offense. Take his breaks, rest a little bit on offense as far as from scoring, because it's wearing him out towards the end of the games, and therefore he can't guard Durant at any point in time, and Durant is just doing whatever he wants to on the floor.
You know what, folks? That's Mike Quick and Ernest Spragley that's joined basketball more in the game. So again, they are constantly laying it down. Matter of fact, I got one for you there, Coach Quick. Let's put JR on the bench, and let's put him down past the cooler. Let's put him in the first row of the locker room. I mean, come on now. The dude came out game 1, took a deep 3, knocked the 3 down. Came out game 2, had a wide open shot, and then took a side dribble, fadeaway, and the ball still hadn't gone through the net. And here it is Wednesday evening, about 6:34 Eastern time. So, yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, at that level, you have an opportunity, and you're not bringing your game. It's about, okay, you know what? Next man up. Somebody's got to get in, and I like that shakeup, Mike. I really do. Why not bring in Korver and look for some instant offense? And then here's the thing: when he comes in the game, he needs to shoot the shot that he's made. He don't need to be shooting from up on top of the key. He's a wing player. So he needs to get out on the wing and shoot his shot, and don't come in and just all of a sudden get caught up in the hype. And I think that's what's happened. Cleveland hadn't played their game, and to your point, you called this out. When you get in the running game with Golden State, they're gonna run you. They're gonna run you right across that Golden State bridge, and straight into the bay. Next thing you know, you're gonna be out there paddling, thinking you trying to escape from Alcatraz. instead of playing the game of basketball. So with that, go ahead, Coach, and say, Coach is handling he's handling he's handling Cleveland tomorrow night. So do you agree with that shakeup and kind of go for a little bit more of an offensive?
I kind of like that shake-up that Coach Quick said. Kyle Korver can hit you threes. If you get hot, he can knock down 6 for you right quick. And again, to his point, you got to get LeBron some breaks in there. Like I say, I go back to what I said in the beginning. What Coach Quick says, he can't cover KD for 40 minutes and then trying to do offense for 40 minutes. He was tired in the last game. He was huffing and puffing hard. I've never seen him look like that.
Yeah. He was at the point. I thought, that's a great call. He was at the point of exhaustion.
Mm-hmm.
And again, so let's kind of change. Now that Coach Bradley brought that up, Mike, let's kind of change roles. We're the GMs now. And this our show, so we can do what we want to do. So in that process, so now that we GMs, who would be? All right, you're sitting in your room right now, and I can see the whiteboard through the microphone and through the cell phone, and you got your top free agents on the market, and you're in Cleveland, and you're sitting there, and you got your coach, you got Teron Lue sitting there in the office, and Coach Spragley and Coach Goins all in there, and we're all the big time GMs, and we looking sharp. We got our gaiters on, and we got our feet crossed, and you're the GM, and you're demanding you want this guy in Cleveland next year. Who would that be?
Paul George.
Oh, all right, ladies, without a doubt.
Without a doubt.
So again, ladies and gentlemen, that's Mike Quick, and if anybody has a coaching vacancy, you need to make sure that you jump on and you scoop him up as quickly as possible, because again, without a doubt, he said what? He said Paul George. And all right, so now you picked up Paul George. Who's your next guy?
Next guy I will be looking for is, and I'm not real prone to who all the big time free agents are right now, but I'm going to look for another post guy who is tough, that's going to be a bruiser, that's going to play hard every night. And like I said, I'm not right now. I don't know who all the big time free agents are out there right now.
Well, you know what? Coach Goins might have a little inside scoop. So what about and I'm partial to this young man because I met him when he was just a young pup doing this deal out there on the court in Oklahoma. If it was me and I'm sitting in there, and of course you the GM sitting up handling your business, and me and Coach Spragley sitting over there drinking our mineral water and got our $3,000 suits on. But as we in that process, I'm going to toss out a name. I'm going to say Blake Griffin. Can we get Blake Griffin to come to Cleveland?
That will be great because they need another post guy. And like I said, he's a younger post guy. But to me, he's had quite a bit of injury. Paul George has been injured too. But if Blake can stay healthy, without a doubt, I'll take him on board. But currently constructed, there's no way Cleveland can continue to compete with Golden State in the finals. And let's be real, they're going to be the same two teams in the finals probably for the next 5 or 6 years unless something changes.
You know what?
Go ahead. In my opinion, Paul George is that guy. He's one of the best two-way guys in the league today.
You know what? And that's a great call out. So with that, Coach Bragg, what's your dime on that on my Blake Griffin trade there?
Well, I like that Blake Griffin trade. And my thinking is, I like Kevin Love, but I think he slows down the game. Blake Griffin would speed up the game, and Paul George has an addition, makes him a little bit faster and more attractive when they play against Golden State.
You know what? Think about it. I mean, I'm going to turn the hands of the time. Quick, you might not remember this trade, but the Seattle Supersonics, Boston Celtics traded and brought in Dennis Johnson. They said, why did you bring Dennis Johnson in? For one reason, Irvin Magic Johnson. That's the reason why they went and brought in DJ out of Seattle. So my thing is, you bring people say, and Coach, you called that out. Blake has been injury prone, but here's my thing. I'm gonna go after him because I want somebody that can match up against my man that Draymond Green, who thinks he's such a great player that he can have his photo up on the wall with KD, along with Curry, along with Thompson. I don't know why I don't know why the league feels so hard compelled to put his picture up on everything. Those three guys, I can understand three, but you know what? I want to take him and I want to put him in with the Pelicans. I want to put him in Orlando Magic. And then let's see if they can put his pitch up because I don't think he can give you 25. I don't think he can give you a double night in and night out. I could be wrong, but I think you bring a guy in like Blake Griffin, and he may be the answer to be able to contain somebody that can play away from the basket, has enough athletic ability to go left or right and control, their big as well as get out on the floor. And be able to and begin just bring you that well-roundedness because I think Kevin Love is really playing out of position. He's an outside guy, and you got him inside playing against I think it's Bogut. If I got my facts right, yeah, and I think that's a bad matchup, across the board. So I think that what needs to happen there is you bring in, and again, folks, you say, this is pie in the sky. Yeah, but it is pie in the sky, but it is reality of it. So let me ask you this question here, Coach Spraglin. Put him back on the block. All right, so you made your changes and you were successful in Game 3, and now you're back home again. So for Game 4, because it's going to be 2-2, 1-1-1. So do you have to win both games at home?
Well, the way Golden State played the first 2 games, if we don't win Game 3, as in Cleveland, they may get swept. But They got to win Game 3.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay, if they win Game 3, they may get one at home, and they got to still win at Golden State. They can get 2 at home if they show up for Game 3 with that lineup. If that lineup is successful.
Okay. All right. So, Mike, what's your spin on that? Do we have to win both games at home?
Without a doubt. If we don't, we're swept. And in my opinion, if we go back to Oakland 2-2, is anybody's series. I ain't ready to stick the fork in LeBron just yet because they come back from 3-1 last year. So if we win both of these ball games in Cleveland, hey, it's anybody's series then. And I say let's lace them up tight and get ready to roll.
Yes. Hey, folks, and you wonder why we do what we do, and as Mike just put it down, again, line after line. When you got, that's how we tell you on Basketball More, you got to lace them up tight because if you don't, you're gonna get your ankles broke. And that's the bottom line. So hey, let's take a look at some stats real quick here. So it says game. Where I'm gonna make sure I'm on the right line here. Yeah, game. Let's see. KD and that 132 win. 132 points and 113 by Cleveland. He dropped 33, and then Sunday night he dropped 38, 8 boards, 8 assists. So again, what do you think? Let's talk about that, Mike, if you don't mind. I'll toss this one in your court right off the bat. Where did that game break down the other night?
After halftime, Cleveland played as well as they could have played, in my opinion, except for not stroking the long ball. Mm-hmm. And whenever they came out after halftime, want to jack up a bunch of threes and miss them, Golden State getting rebounds, going down the court doing what they want to do. Cleveland has been broken defensively this series. Bottom line, they haven't been able to match up with KD. They haven't been able to match up with Curry. And let's call a spade a spade. Klay Thompson has flat out locked Kyrie Irving up. He has flat out locked him up. So he hadn't been able to get involved. So to me, that's where it broke down after halftime. They started jacking up threes, bickering back and forth with the refs about calls. Just play the game. Quit crying. Play the game. Lace them up and go out and get you a championship. You the champions. Go out and keep what's yours.
Watch out now, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I'm telling you now, if you got an opening, you better get them on your staff because that's a great call out. I mean, Kyrie Irving is a fantastic player, but every team. Well, let me put it this way: every great team has always had a great defender. You go back to the Rodmans when he was with. I'm going to go back when he was with Detroit, and then we'll drop in when he spent a little bit of time in Chi-Town with his airness, and then being able, as Mike told me, he said, "Look, you do whatever you want to do. When you come on this court, you're gonna have your head on right." So what another great call. So here's my thing. I'm gonna toss this one over here to my sidekick right here, Mr. Coach Spragley. He's coaching Game 3 from a distance tomorrow night. So Quick just called out saying that Kyrie has been locked down on. Thompson has been locked down on Kyrie. What is your strategy to get the ball out of Kyrie's hand?
Well, again, a lot of that has been LeBron facilitating. He's getting the ball to Kyrie. I think if Kyrie is running the facilitating in the beginning, just doing his shaking and baking, that he can possibly get some shots off because it's where he performs the best. Not saying he can't come off of screens and so forth. I don't think that's the strength of his game. I think the strength of his game is when he has the ball in his hand that he can work. And I would set all kinds of screens for him. So I'm trying to get Clay off of him.
You know, and he was, so again, I don't want to throw Teron Lue under the bus, but I'm gonna get him close to the curb. All right. So in this process, here's the thing, and I'm not about trying to put anybody on blast, but I got to be honest with you. When they put the camera on the young man, and he's a young man, he ain't as old as I am, right? And he's standing there, and I'm not saying he's won an NBA championship, and I've yet to do that. And I don't know if I'm still my phone may ring after this broadcast, but I don't know. But it just seems like when they put the camera on the guy, and Quick, I want you to jump in on this thing. When they seem like they put the camera on him, he is just like, man, I'd rather be at the concession stand getting some French fries and a side order of onion rings. I mean, it's just like I don't want to be out here because to me, his body language, his facial expression, and I could be wrong. I don't know the guy a bit more than I know this robin that's laying on top of my neighbor's shed over here. But the problem that I have with it is he just does not seem engaged with the game.
I agree with you. He seems scared to death right now.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, the game is a game within itself. You got to make those in-game adjustments. You know, it's a game of cat and mouse. And what Steve Curry and Mike Brown has brought to the table, you got to come back and combat that. Show me that you're ready to be a big-time coach in these next two ball games. Well, that means you got to play Darren Williams and Kyrie together, 2 point guards on the floor to help Kyrie get off, then so be it. Where that means you got to take J.R. Smith out of the lineup, as I said, plays Kyle Korver in there, getting him off. Bottom line, they got to start making the three ball to open up the floor for LeBron. And everywhere LeBron has been, every time he's won a championship, he's had Ray Allen, he's had James Jones, he's had Mike Miller guys to open up the basketball court. And therefore, you know, hey, he was able to operate through his thing then. LeBron is not that guy. He's not Michael Jordan where he's going to go out and get you 40 a night. Let's not compare him. You know, LeBron is in the conversation, but Jordan is the greatest to ever live, and he will continue to be that. Nobody will ever surpass him. So my Facebook friends, I'm nipping that conversation in the bud right now. But LeBron is definitely in the conversation.
How about that? So again, ladies and gentlemen, that's Coach Mike Quick. That has joined us from North Carolina. So, hey, this is what we're going to do because, as we always say, money is time and time is money. So we want to definitely appreciate everybody that as we start to bring this thing to a close, and I'm going to toss it over here to my good friend and Coach Spraglin. And again, just appreciate everything that, you know, both of these gentlemen are doing for their communities and giving back and coming out and spending time with old Coach Goins tonight as we just kind of sitting around the mic and just giving you a little NBA preview. And again, we've gone Facebook Live and also we're doing the recording on the podcast. So we will drop this out on the podcast. This will actually come out. Let's see, the game. Let's see, what is it? Game is tomorrow night.
Yes.
So what we'll do, we'll do a special edition. So we'll button this thing up and we'll drop it out there tonight just for so people can hit up on this thing just to kind of say, man, they dropped in a special edition just for the basket. Yeah, because you know what? I'm not a Golden State fan. I go on record because I am sick and tired of seeing Mr. Curry and his antics of, you know, walking down the floor, stomping, laying over on the sideline with the towel on his head and laying back, you know what I mean, just like, yeah. And I guess I have a problem with that because his dad, and I know there's two different individuals, but his dad never, ever did that, and that's I guess that's the heartache or the, I don't think, maybe that's the wrong word, heartache might not be right. I think I'll use the word disappointing. I think he could be a great individual. I know he is. He's a great individual, but he's almost drinking too much of his own Kool-Aid, reading too much of his press. And my call out to you is, you know, be a leader, be the young man that league needs you to be that role model. And when you come out of the game, sit on the bench because that's the last thing we need as guys that love the game of basketball. For the integrity of the game, the leadership skills kind of just fading by the wayside. So with that, I'm going to toss it over to Coach Spragley first for his closing comments, and then we'll go down south a little bit. So, Coach Spragley, you have the mic.
Well, thanks, Coach Goins. You know, I'm just the evolution of basketball. You know, everything now is about 3-pointers, shooting threes. To your point, Coach Goins, we do need great leaders in the NBA for these youth, because these young men coming up, they think they can just go out on the court, shoot threes, and that's how it goes. But learning every aspect of the game, learning how to do mid-range shots, layups, as well as three-point shots, how to play defense, how to dribble the basketball, how to pass the ball, and how to, most of all, just understanding the game.
Watch out. Come
so
on.
You had the IQ to know what's going to happen before it happens. You know, I coach youth, and a lot of youth don't watch the game of basketball. They don't watch the game of basketball the way that I grew up watching the game of basketball. You know, wanting to learn every position on the court and understand what that position does to know how to play that game of basketball. So, you know, I'm just praying that these guys, as they continue to enter into the NBA, and the ones that are in the NBA, you know, some of them say, I don't want to be a role model, but unfortunately, you are a role model.
That's right.
Because you are a great player, and you're on TV, and you are the example.
Exactly.
So I just hope that they will learn to be role models.
You know what? And I appreciate that. And folks, you know, I understand, as Coach said, he's been with the organization Act Sports. And for those that don't know, anybody that is interested in the Stanton area, and that's where we are. Actually, we're in Fishersville, Virginia. Just a beautiful afternoon here, Mike, in Virginia at 6:54 as we sit out here on the back deck and look across the beautiful Shenandoah Valley. Just a great evening. But again, Coach Spragley, thank you for what you do for Act Sports. And again, anybody that's interested, that's playactsports.com. Actually, we just started track, and they had their, I think it's the second practice was the night. So we're certainly encouraged with that, along with volleyball, travel basketball, rec basketball, flag football, and soccer. So if you're interested in that, go to Play Act Sports for your recreation needs. All right, so we're going to go down south real quick, and let's talk to the number one Tar Heel fan that I know on the book. So, Mike, we'll go ahead and have your closing comments, sir.
Yes, sir. Coach Goins, thank you again for the opportunity to be on the show. Coach Spragley, thank you for being on the show as well. We interacting like this and talking about the game. The game that we both love. I truly love this. Okay, my closing comments will be this. I don't understand why all the hate for LeBron James. There's a lot of people out there that sent a bunch of hate his way. Some of it he may be well deserving of because of how he did the decision back in 2010. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Kevin Durant did the same thing. He chased the championship just like LeBron James did. And bottom line, they have their right to do so. But when you are 3-1 and have another top 5 player in your arsenal, and you decide to go to the team, the very team that beat you, you know, I can't pull for that. I love Durant. I'm a Durant fan, but I'm a LeBron James guy. And number 2 is like this right here. It's taking 5 All-Stars, 5 Olympians, 5 All-Stars with 2 legit MVPs on your roster to stop a 32-year-old man. Ponder on that, ladies and gentlemen. Those are my closing comments for the night.
You know what, folks, and you heard it right here. You got Coach Mike Quick and Coach Ernest Spraglin. We can't thank these gentlemen enough for their time, their talent, and their passion. And, folks, everybody that's tuned in and kind of dropped in to watch this video on Facebook, we certainly appreciate your time. We're going to be doing more of this because, again, we just want to spend time together, fellowship as brothers, but most importantly, talk about a game that we share and we love because, in basketball, it's more in the game, and we certainly appreciate everybody for what you're tuning in to us. So with that, I'll always close like we always do with our scripture verse from John 14:6. I am the way, the truth, and the light. And I'm Coach Goins. And always remember, somebody somewhere is working on the game, and I'll see you in the gym.